I'd like to call this meeting of the Planning Commission to order. It's Thursday, July 11th, 2024. We have a quorum with one member online, our new member, Chance McMillan, who will be joining us to make the quorum. And at this time, I've asked Member Little to offer the invocation. Afterwards, if you would rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our dear kind Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this opportunity that we can serve this community. Thank Thee for this time that we get to discuss these matters, and pray that we can be guided, directed, and thank Thee for all the good members of this community and things we get to do. We pray for Thy peace and safety, and that we can do Thy will always. In these things we say in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Chance, we'd like to welcome you tonight, and thank you for joining us on the phone.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Member Little. And a second by Member Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion
Aye.
carries. Thank you. Declaration of any conflict of interest by members of the Planning Commission with any item on the agenda tonight. Okay, seeing none, we move on to public comment. Now's the time for the public to come forward and address the Planning Commission. We have one legislative item tonight, which would be a public hearing, its own public hearing. But we have an administrative item, so if you have anything you'd like to say regarding the administrative item, the Crouch Ranch Small Subdivision Preliminary and Final Plat, now would be your time, or any other item you'd like to address the Planning Commission. Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 6, Crouch Ranch Small Subdivision and Final Plat.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening to the Planning Commission. The application 24.019 is the Crouch Ranch Small Subdivision Preliminary and Final Plat. The applicants being Justin and Heidi Crouch, which are available in the audience tonight, Madam Chair. The project location is 3825 North Lost Creek Road. The current zoning is RR5. If I'm not mistaken, that's a split zone designation. RR5 completely. RR1 frontage and A20 in the rear, is that no?
5.
RR5, okay, that's what it is. RR1 in the front of the lot. The colors represented on the screen haven't been updated on the county map with RR5 in the rear portion. The request tonight, Madam Chair, is for a preliminary and final plat approval of a 2-lot subdivision on this parcel located on your, as shown on your screen. Staff has conducted a full review on this, on both the concept plan that was approved in March and the preliminary and final plat with this application. Engineering and planning were wanting to see the shared driveway being designed to the private lane standards. And that depiction there meets the minimum code requirements, Madam Chair. The concern, and staff has this as a condition for approval, a recommended condition that I'll read verbatim. It's number 3 on in your staff report. It says that the county engineer, surveyor, and fire services comments are addressed and corrected on the plat prior to recording. Specifically that the terminology for access easement shall be removed from the plat, and that either an easement be defined for any encroachment or new drawings submitted to show no encroachment on neighboring property. A condition that could be addressed final to the recordation of the Mylar, Madam Chair. Otherwise, we see this as a proposal that we recommend approval for to this body, Madam Chair, and I have nothing further. If you have any questions, Josh and I can answer those.
Don't we approve since it's small?
That's all right. Thank you.
And that's, I just noticed, first thing on the plat, they need to remove the county commission block, but that is easy enough. Anyone else have any questions for staff? I might, for the applicant, it could be Justin or Heidi, which one's gonna come up? You come up and talk into the mic so it can record it. Heidi, I just have a question on the wells. You have two separate wells?
We don't. We have a spring that's for the existing home, and then we've drilled the new well for the new home.
Okay, because on the plat, it looks like two wells. I was kind of confused. There's like two, and there's,
Oh, it's probably just didn't take one off, because that's where he had it, and then actually when it was drilled, it was in the where it's over in this lot 1. We had it originally in lot 2, but it's actually in lot 1. It was actually like 10 feet
But-
off of where we had actually had it at first.
okay, so there's, only
This one it's not there.
it's there, and that's why that maintenance easement's there. 'Cause I couldn't figure,
Yeah.
so, okay.
Oh, yes. around
Because the
yes.
well is for lot 2,
Yes.
but it's
for the
on
new
lot
home.
1. Okay,
Yes.
okay, now that makes sense. So that maybe needs to be cleaned up on the
Yeah, that'll need to be removed.
On the Mylar, yeah, just,
If you want to add that as a recommendation of approval, we can make sure that's taken care of before recordation.
so the well designation. And to remove the county commission signature block. Anyone else have any questions? Okay. I think we're done.
Okay,
Thank you,
great.
Heidi. So, you ready for a motion?
So, go back, if you would, Debbie, and tell me the, we're supposed to have, I didn't write it down, sorry. There was one more condition you wanted to add to it,
One is
2 more conditions.
the well designation, I don't know how to say that to be cleaned up, to only show the one well.
Yeah, remove the notation for the well that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And then the other one was to remove the county commission
Commission block.
signature block.
So, in the wording on the well, just, to clean up the boundaries of where the well is.
Yeah, you could just say remove the notation for one of the wells that's not for where it exists.
All right. I would make a motion, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I move we approve the Crouch Ranch Small Subdivision Preliminary and Final Plat Application Number 24.019, allowing for a 2-lot subdivision of land located at 3825 North Lost Creek Road based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated July 11th, 24, with 2 more conditions. Number 1, remove I guess it'd be number 4, remove the county commission's sign block from Mylar, and also remove the notation for one of the wells that no longer exists.
I have a motion by Member Wilson. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
And a second by Member Little. Any more discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Voting was unanimous. Thank you. Okay, the next item is our public hearing for fence code text amendment.
After taking further look at the proposed text amendment for modifying the fence and wall section of our code, it looks like there could be some additional work that we need to do to fit it into our code a little bit better. I was under the impression that it would be its own section, which is why at the very end it's I-123, whereas after looking at it and discussing with Debbie as well as the applicant, it's actually meant to supersede and take the place of C, 1, 2, and 3. So I have a meeting with the applicant on Monday that I will continue to wordsmith this text amendment with him. What I'm requesting is a continuance. If we could continue this to the July 25th meeting, we will have that finalized and ready to go.
Madam Chair,
Before you make that, do we want to have a public hearing tonight, or can we, with postponing, we won't have to renotice for the public hearing either?
We won't have to renotice
Okay.
for the public hearing because we're continuing it to a date certain.
Okay,
If we were just to continue it, we would have to renotice.
okay.
all right, Madam Chair, I'd like to request a continuance to the item number, is it 6?
7.
7, the fence code to July 25th.
I have a motion to continue this item to our July 25th meeting. Is there a second? Second by Member Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Voting's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now is time for business and staff questions, and I believe we have a presentation.
That's correct. Because of the number of comments and questions from the public regarding how annexations in the state of Utah work, I thought it would be good if the deputy county attorney could give us some annexation training. Thanks.
memes, so I struggled to make this interesting. So with the annexation, I don't think any of us really knew how it worked. So tonight we'll start clicking through. If you have any questions or I'm going too fast, stop me. But this is really very basic and really only applies to fourth-class counties and private land that's being annexed by a city. So there's some general principles, and this is mostly about the municipality that's going to annex. The municipality or city has to have an annexation plan per statute. Morgan, the city, does. So they've got a policy and map. They also have to have an expansion area map where it's proposed area where they would annex. And I can link to the policy, but we won't go over that. The other thing is the citizens do not have a right to vote whether or not it'll be an annexation is approved or not. So here's the Morgan City annexation boundary map. And then here you can see in the blue is the proposed annexation boundary. So based on the principles before, the only areas they could annex is the ones within the blue. Okay, so the annexation process. You can only annex property that meets the following criteria. One, it has to be contiguous. It has to be unincorporated. You can't create islands or peninsulas. There's some exceptions out there for that, but generally you can't. It must be in the expansion area. And in order to annex, someone has to file the annexation petition for it to start. The city just can't do it themselves. So some person. Now, code doesn't say the person has to be one of the landowners in that annexation area. So they have to file a petition. The contents of the petition. First off, before you even get the petition, you have to file a notice of intent with the municipality. The municipality then sends this notice to every affected entity. So it'd be the county and then any special districts in the proposed annexation area. The notice must contain a map of the proposed property to annex and then a special notice in the notice. And that special notice, they have it in the statute, but it basically tells people that, hey, citizens don't have a right to vote on the annexation. So if you eventually are signing the petition for it or not, it won't go to a vote to the general citizens. Then when this notice reaches the county then sends a copy of the notice and the map to each affected property owner in that area, as well as any property owner within 300 feet of the annexation property. Once the county certifies it's done that, then it tells the municipality, and then they give the petitioner the actual annexation petition. So once you get the petition, then the petitioner has to gather signatures in support of the petition. And then again, there must be that special notice on each signature page that, hey, this doesn't go to a vote. You can sign this. If you want to withdraw your signature later, how to do that kind of stuff. So then you need a certain amount of people to sign it in certain quantity, and this is just for privately owned property. If there's public property within it, there's different rules. So you have to have a majority of the property owners in the annexation area sign the petition. If it's real property, it's got to be 100%. If it's migratory bird area, it must be 100%. And then, so the majority of people signing, the value of their land has to be equal at least 1/3 of the value of the entire proposed annexation area. So that just if you have a majority that only owns a little bit of the property, they can't pull in everybody else. So once you get your signatures, you go back and you file the petition with the municipality along with an accurate recordable map, and that map has to be by a licensed surveyor. And then a copy of the notice is sent to all the affected entities, which would be the county and any special districts. And then the petitioner needs to designate up to 5 sponsors with their addresses, and then 1 designated as the contact sponsor. So it's up to 5. You don't have to have 5. You can have 1. And these sponsors do have to be property owners in the proposed annexation area. So then that's sent to the county clerk. Then the municipality must act on the petition by the next scheduled meeting, that is at least 14 days after the complete petition is filed. Or, and this is the scary part, if you don't act on it, it's deemed accepted. So the municipality, once it gets it, it can just deny it outright and then provide notice back to the sponsor and let the county know. But it can also put the denial back on for a revote if the majority of the municipality's commission votes to reconsider it. So it gets a second chance. So if the municipality accepts the petition or just fails to act, then the clerk will get the records regarding the property and the petition from the county, and then with the help of the municipal attorney, verify that the petition checks all the boxes and meets all the requirements. If it does, then the clerk will let the sponsors in the county and municipality know. If it doesn't, then it's up to the clerk to reject the petition with some reasons, notifies everybody. Then the petitioner may correct it, reuse the signatures that they had on the petition, and refile and start over again. And then, what if we don't like the annexation? So if it's accepted, certain people and entities may file a protest opposing the annexation by filing a protest notice with the municipality clerk with reasons and justification for the protest. But only certain people can protest. And this is the part that I had to read like 20 times because I don't believe it. So the people that can protest is the legislative body of the affected county, so the county commission, or a special district within the annexation area. Owners of rural real property in the proposed annexation. Owner of private real property located in a mining protection area. That's it. So the property owners themselves, if they don't fall into rural real or in a mining protection area, they can't protest. So if there's no protest, then the municipality can just act. They can accept it or deny it. So if we have a protest, then we get to meet something called the Boundary Commission, because Utah loves to make appeal authorities and commissions and hearings officers. So the protest goes to the Boundary Commission. Again, unless the municipality goes ahead and just outright denies it after the protest. And the Boundary Commission, if you don't have one, then you gotta form one. And it's kind of complicated. They got a whole statute on it, but it's basically made up of people by both the municipality and the county appoint people to it. So then the Boundary Commission will have a public hearing, and within 30 days after issue a decision regarding the protest and the annexation. So they have 3 choices. They can approve the annexation either with or without conditions. They may make minor modifications to the proposed annexation and then approve it, either with or without conditions. and then they can disapprove of that annexation. If the protester doesn't like the Boundary Commission decision, or someone else doesn't like it, a petition for review of the Boundary Commission decision may be filed with the district court within 20 days, which will be reviewed on the record of the commission's hearing. So you don't get a new shot of hearing and presenting evidence at the district court. Then the district court shall either shall affirm the commission decision unless it determines it was arbitrary or capricious, which that's going to be pretty difficult. So probably not going to have a chance of appealing that very successfully. So then the Boundary Commission sends its decision to the municipality, and then it's their turn to act, which they really don't have a lot of choices here. They have 3, which I'm sure you can guess. If Boundary Commission denies annexation, they've got to deny it. They're bound by that decision. If they approve the annexation, then the municipality can approve it, but it has to be consistent with the commission's decision. So I guess there's only 2. It's either with the conditions or the modifications, or flat out deny. So let's say I still don't agree with either the Boundary Commission or now the municipality's decision. You can go ahead and file a district court challenge. However, in this instance, it can only be filed by anyone who filed a timely protest. So anybody who could protest and actually did protest. So again, that limits who can file it. So we're stuck with the affected counties, or the affected county, rural, residential, and then the mining people. So that's probably often. So then just a couple other things to wrap up. There, again, like I started out with, there's different rules for public property, islands, peninsulas already existing, islands and peninsulas already existing. In those instances, you don't have to file a petition. The county and the municipality can agree and just annex it in if it's one of those. And then counties of the first class, they have a more complicated system. And then special districts are affected entities, so yeah, there's some other different rules apply if they're in an affected area. So that's it.
Who's on our Boundary Commission?
We don't have one because we haven't had a protest to an annexation.
So you don't have it in place, only if there's a protest.
Exactly. Now, there's some counties that do have one in place because it's already happened before. But yeah, generally the statute provides for that, is that you get to hurry up and appoint people.
I thought I'd heard that there was like some surveys or something that has to be done before as well. Is that
Yeah, and that was part of it. So they do a proposed map, but once they get the actual petition, they have to have like a map by a licensed surveyor attached to the petition.
Are there any other studies that have to be done?
Now, okay, so in counties of the first class, they can require, the Boundary Commission can require specific studies done on it. But that's only in counties of the first class. It gets a lot more complicated in those counties.
Okay.
But yeah, they have whole special people that they get to appoint to do these in-depth studies and
So once again, Morgan is a 4th class?
forth.
Okay. Does that make us better?
Yes?
Yeah, okay.
So you say special districts like the Mountain Green Sewer, there's a little bit different
Right. Yeah.
procedure. Is it more difficult or probably about the same?
About the same.
Who draws the next set of boundary?
Okay, that's a really great question. So I did a lot of digging into it, and I don't know if I've ever come up with the right answer. But so the city passes their expansion area map, right? I don't see anywhere where the county has to approve it. I know it gets sent to the county, but I don't know that that's anywhere in our ordinances, and it's not in the state code. So, and I didn't look in to see if other counties had something that said, hey, we have to approve it. I don't even know if we could. So that's kind of the scary thing, is if, as long as they put it in there. And then, I mean, you're kind of stuck with the boundary commission and how that's going to be made up and who's going to.
So does the city have a boundary commission?
They don't. See, the boundary commission is something, only if there's a protest, it would be made up from the county and the city would both have to appoint people to it.
Well, someone's drawn it before, right? I mean, I saw the blue boundaries. I was
Yeah,
just curious.
so that part, that the boundaries there, that's solely up to the city, not the boundary commission.
So like the city council decides that?
Yeah, they can pick
Alright, that's what I
who
was
they
curious.
want to put in, yeah, the area they want to put in. Now, I'm sure they're going to be kind of picky. They don't, yeah.
They have to extend their services.
Yeah, I mean, there's places I wouldn't want to annex, so.
Thank you.
This
You're
is
welcome.
Chance. I've got one
Chance.
question for you.
Sure.
You mentioned that islands, peninsulas, that the city then could just annex them without petition or anything. We said there were some special circumstances in regards to public
Public property. Yes.
Is there a certain percentage amount that has to be public for them to automatically annex in, or what are those special conditions? I guess kind of Reader's Digest version of that, if you can.
Oh, Chance, thanks a lot. I don't remember, it's been a while since I put together my initial outline. I can look into that and get back to you. I can't remember exactly how it varied with the public property. But with the islands and peninsulas, the city can't just automatically annex it. It's an agreement between the county and the city to go ahead and annex it without going through the whole petition process where you'd have to gather signatures and things like that, which makes sense because it's going to be a smaller area and fewer landowners. That makes sense?
Yeah, so in that case, the county does have somewhat of a bearing on whether or not it gets annexed in.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay. We have any other business for us, or anyone have staff questions?
I have an odd question for him, if that's all right. I remember, Josh, there was talk a while back about Club Med coming in Mount Green. What's the status on that? Is that still in the works, or is that gone?
Club Med, I
The
think the
hotel.
only the hotel that was going to be part of.
Snow Basin.
Yeah, it was going to be part of Snow Basin, but I think that deal fell through 6 months ago, something like that. I don't remember the exact date that.
You can
that
tell I keep up, can't
Yeah, I think that fell through. I'm sure they're looking for other individuals, but nothing right now.
That's all I
Okay,
have.
that's all, okay. So we'll move on to approval of the minutes for June 27th meeting.
Madam Chair, move that we approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Okay, motion by member Little to approve. And second by member Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. And welcome aboard, Chance. We'll look forward to seeing you in person.
Yeah, I will be there next time. I apologize. I had an out-of-town business trip, so
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Ready for an adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?